In a salute to the grocery industry's best and brightest, the Iowa Grocery Industry Association recognizes James R. Tyler, chairman of the board and former CEO of Atlantic Coca-Cola Bottling Company, for a lifetime of achievement. In every life, there are pivotal moments, moments that take a person down one path while another is lost forever. For James R. Tyler, that fork in the road came with the decision to either re-enlist in the Air Force or join the family business.
Yeah, my father came back from his service in World War II and sat down with my grandfather, and he told my grandfather that he was thinking about re-enlisting in the Army Air Corps. And he liked the flying aspect of the military. He didn't mind the military discipline and the military aspect of things. And so my grandfather said, "Jim, why don't you come in here for a second?" So they went into his office and sat down, and he said, "You know, when I go from Villisca to Creston or to Atlantic and I look around and I see a Coke sign in a window or a Coke sign outside a restaurant or a vending machine," he said, I look at that and think, okay, I had something to do with that. And that's how we built the business. And so my father thought about it a little bit and said, okay, I'm going to come into the business.
The Tyler legacy began with Jim's grandfather, Frank P. Perk Tyler, who owned an ice cream and ice business.
Perk made a lake, a man-made lake that they could flood in the wintertime, and then they would make ice, take the ice off of the lake, and then they would store it in the barn in sawdust to keep it for the winter or the summer, because there was no refrigeration back then, and that's how they kept the ice cream cold and the butter cold, and that was their refrigeration.
Jim's father, Harry Tyler, and his uncles Royal and Henry worked alongside Jim's grandfather and purchased the business from him in 1909.
My grandfather and his brother started our business in 1909 down in Villisca, Iowa, and in the ice cream business. And they also had their own line of soda flavors, Tyler Beverages. The ice cream business got to be so good, they bought a creamery down in Clarinda, Iowa in 1912, and they were cleaning out the warehouse of the creamery, and they found a safe, and they opened up the safe, and they found a franchise from Coca-Cola. And so that's how we got started in the Coke business.
The company continued to grow even through the Great Depression.
It's really interesting visiting with him about the 30s and 40s and the Depression. It sure makes you appreciate life as we know it now, because they sold Coke for a nickel a bottle, and all there was 6.5-ounce Coke. And people couldn't buy cars, they couldn't buy luxury items, but they usually had a nickel in their pocket so they could afford a Coke. And so that's just one product and one package till 1955.
The United States joined the Second World War in 1939. At the time, a young Jim Tyler attended Villisca High School and spent his summers feeding a bottle washer in Clarinda.
All the family members that work in the business grew up in the business, and we all started at the bottom, and my father started feeding the bottle washer down in Clarinda, Iowa, made 25 cents an hour, and boy, that was a lot of money back then, and it sure taught him the value of $1.
By 1942, Jim graduated high school and enlisted in the U.S. Army Air Corps. After training, First Lieutenant Tyler was assigned to the 48th Fighter Squadron and served as a P-38 fighter pilot, flying missions out of San Severo, Italy.
Flew missions up over Germany, Austria, a little bit of France. First we flew bomber escorts, and after that we did some dive bombing missions. And towards the end of the war we did strafing missions. Like they say, there's old pilots and there's bold pilots, there's no old bold pilots.
After his discharge from the Air Corps in 1946, Jim attended Simpson College in Indianola, Iowa, earning a Bachelor's of Science degree in Business Administration in 1949. While at Simpson, he became reacquainted with Dorothy Hendrickson, a girl he had known in high school, and in 1947 they married. After graduation, the couple moved to Atlantic, and Jim went to work for Atlantic Coca-Cola Bottling Company. That same year, Jim's dad, Harry, and his brother, Henry, divided the burgeoning business.
My grandfather and his brother Henry had the business, and then in 1949 an estate planner from Chicago told him that the business was getting too large for one family. So they had 4 plants at the time, and all 4 plants were of equal value. So fortunately my grandfather and his brother got along very well, and they literally drew straws to see who would get which 2 plants, and we got the long straws, and we got picked Atlantic and Creston.
Jim and Dorothy settled into the community of Atlantic and began raising a family that grew to include 5 children: Amy, Jane, Luann, Kirk, and Sue. By 1958, Jim succeeded his father and was running the business. On a chilly evening in 1975, Jim Tyler had more than a nice meal in mind when he invited his son Kirk to dinner.
My senior year of high school, and my mother was out of town, so my dad came home one night and he says, "Okay, let's go out to the country club and have dinner." And I thought, great, I'll get a good meal tonight. And so we went out there and we were eating, and so he starts telling me about this opportunity that they had to purchase the Des Moines franchise for Coca-Cola, and that he was wondering if I was interested in the business, because if I wasn't interested in the business, he wasn't going to work that hard to take over the Des Moines market. And so that night I said, yeah, I'm interested in the business. So I kind of committed myself for the rest of the time, and it's been great. And here I was making that decision. I was wondering whether I was going to go to prom that year or not.
Kirk joined the business and was placed in charge of sales for the company in 1981. By 1989, the Des Moines operation moved into a larger warehouse and sales center on Hickman Road in Waukee to accommodate the rapid growth. In 1991, Kirk was named president of Atlantic Coca-Cola Bottling Company, and Jim became chairman of the board of directors. The company's growing success led to Jim's best day ever in 2006.
The happiest day of my father's life, besides when he married my mother, was about 20 years ago when he walked in the First Whitney Bank and told Gordon Nicholas, who was the owner of the bank, he says, "Gordon, this is the happiest day of my life because I don't owe you a damn cent." And he said it was a great feeling.
Jim's hard work and forward thinking has allowed the company to prosper, and in testament to its success, it celebrated 100 years in business in 2009. Then in September of 2016 came another great milestone, as Atlantic Coca-Cola Bottling Company announced the acquisition of distribution rights from the Coca-Cola Company for territories surrounding Mason City, Ames, Spirit Lake, Cedar Rapids, Dubuque and Ottumwa, and the Quad Cities area in Illinois. Overnight, the company grew from 223 employees to more than 700.
Our employees that have had the opportunity to work with Jim, I think the first word that they would say is respect. They've got a tremendous amount of respect for Jim.
We think we have the best business in the world. We think we have the best product in the world. We think we have the best quality in the world. But we always say that if it's not for the people that work with us, then you don't have anything. So people to my father is everything.
James R. Tyler remains a guiding force at Atlantic Bottling and in the community.
Jim frequently says, if we're not in front of our customers, someone else is. And I think that's something that he's instilled in all of us, is the focus to be in front of our customers, talking with our customers, and serving our customers. And I think that's something he's very passionate about.
Over the decades, James R. Tyler has played a major role in building the family's legacy of refreshment and continues to be a powerful influence.
I think my father's very deserving of the Lifetime Achievement Award awarded by the Iowa Grocery Industry Association because of the friends that he's made in the industry, the amount of business associates he's made in the industry, the contributions, whether it's government affairs, getting other people involved in the industry. He's just done an awful lot for not only our business, for our industry, but for the whole grocery industry.
For a lifetime of outstanding achievements and indelible impact on the industry, the Iowa Grocery Industry Association recognizes James R. Tyler with its 2017 Lifetime Achievement Award.